Your false king is dead, bastard. He and all his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Your false king's friends are dead. Their heads are upon the walls of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard. Your false king lied, and so did you. You told the world you burned the king beyond the wall. Instead, you sent him to Winterfell to steal my bride from me. I will have my bride back. If you want Mance Rayder back, come and get him. I have him in a cage for all the North to see, proof of your lies. The cage is cold, but I have made him a warm cloak from the skins of the 6 whores who came with him to Winterfell. I want my bride back. I want the false king's queen. I want his daughter and his red witch. I want the wildling princess. I want his little prince, the wildling babe, and I want my reek. Send them to me, bastard, and I will not trouble you or your black crows. Keep them from me, and I will cut out your bastard's heart and eat it. Ramsay Bolton, trueborn Lord of Winterfell. Zach, hi. Oh, that was a perfectly timed.
Yep.
Hello. Yep. We're doing a pink letter video. Over
yes.
the course of this video, we are going to solve this problem conclusively, and without any ambiguity, we are going to have solved this particular mystery in the fandom. I hope that you like the video, because YouTube gets mad if you don't. I hope that you subscribe, because I get sad if you don't. And I hope you join the Patreon, because I get destitute if you don't. Zach, I hope you're excited. Strap in. It's gonna be a long one. Let's talk about the pink letter.
Let's talk. So I think we should talk about the letter itself, what we know about it, and then we're going to start throwing names on the board. And I'm not convinced on who I believe wrote it. Oh wait, never mind. We just have the names on the board. I should have looked at the screen before I said. Cool. Okay. I have some names that aren't up there that we're gonna have to add on later. So
okay, perfect. We'll add those. Like we're gonna rank these in terms of crazy, and you can add some a little later.
I think mine are a lot more feasible than Melisandre. Melisandre.
I think that so in the last failed recording, you revealed who you think wrote the pink letter. I actually started this. I started doing the research for this as a your favorite theories video. This is a series that we're working on some of our favorite theories in the fandom. That was going to be Bowen Marsh and the conspiracy at Castle Black. But as I was researching it, I became less convinced than I was. So I don't know. I'm between two at this moment. Maybe 3. You could make a persuading argument for 3. But we'll get there when we get there.
There's 4 I could legitimately believe as it stands. And I think 2 of them are on the board. Yeah, and 2 of them aren't. So there are 4 that I wouldn't out. Well, I guess there's a 5th one that I'm iffy about, and we'll talk about that one.
Zach, just so you know, I'm getting a little bit of clicky click through your mic. Oh, we can go ahead and swear because we used the word red whore early in this video.
Yeah, it was baked in.
Yep, can't avoid it.
So
I thought that we would start this with a couple of like some of the parameters around it, because all of these candidates have to fulfill a number of like mandatory criteria. So why don't we talk a little bit about those criteria?
Yeah, let's talk about what this like the letter states things that we the reader know to be factual, and some things that we the reader know at least not to be factual. Last we checked, Mance Rayder was out and about. There is no chapter where we see him in a cage. This is new information to us.
So,
but we do know some other things.
We'll say claims in the letter, shall we?
Yes, I think we should put a check mark next to the ones yep, that's true as far as we know, and then probably a question mark to the ones that we don't.
Sure,
Make it a
sounds good
little
to me.
more clear. The because then we'll at a certain point some of the stuff they're saying might just be a lie, and it's gonna be easier to differentiate.
You want to swap them back and forth? Zach, tell me something that the letter states.
The letter states that Mance Raider is caged up by Ramsey Bolton. That he's got him in a
Mance
cage.
is caged. This is too small. We'll go ahead and up this just a little bit.
And you can throw a question mark next to that one because we have no evidence of this outside of this letter.
Mance is caged? Question mark.
And wearing a cloak made of the skin of the Spearwives, meaning they're all dead.
The Spearwives are dead and skinned. Sure. What else you
got? Stannis is dead, and Ramsey has Lightbringer.
Ramsey has Lightbringer. Sure.
That Theon and Jane, who are posing as Reek and Arya respectively, have not been recaptured by Ramsey and are still out there.
Theon and Jane are gone. Yeah, keep going.
Stannis' army was destroyed after 7 days of battle.
The battle lasted 7 days. Yeah.
And let's see. Those are the direct factual claims. There's some demands in there. Which is Selyse, Shireen, and Melisandre, Monster, and Aemon Steelsong, I think, are all demanded.
Oh, I love this. There's a wonderful bit of ambiguity in here. So I'm going to read this line again.
Yes.
Where is it? I want his daughter and his red witch. I want this wildling princess. I want his little prince, comma, the wildling babe, comma, and I want my reek. Now, I am having trouble parsing that. That could mean I want his little prince, the wildling babe, and I want my reek. Or I want the little prince and the wildling babe and my reek.
Yeah.
To give them the benefit of the doubt, let's assume we'll talk about how that particular distinction leads to different
readings. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Peace promised on delivery of Theon, Jane,
Selyse, Shireen, and Mel, as well as Monster, because Aemon's been Steel. So, well, he wants Aemon Steelsong. He's probably going to get Monster, or he wants both.
And question mark. Monster. All right. Let's see. Anything else in here we need to worry about? Stannis is dead. Stannis has a magic sword. Oh, yes. Stannis's friends are dead. Your false king's friends are dead. I assume that means all the people who were marching with him. Old Flint, the old Nori, all of his knights from the Stormlands, all those people. That's what I assume that means, but it's hard to be sure.
Yes.
I find it conspicuous that they are not listed. Their heads are on the gates of Winterfell, he says, but he does not list them.
Yeah, and we know some of the people who went down with him.
Yeah. Like, it's it's crazy to me, and oh my god, we're gonna dig into all this shit so deep. It's crazy to me that he doesn't list those friends, but he does say the words "my Reek," as though
Yeah.
John would know who Reek is.
Yeah, and to John, Reek being Theon doesn't make any sense. Reek being Reek doesn't make any sense unless he happened to meet Ramsay and his companion in the time period that they were traveling together, which is not only never established, we probably would have heard it mentioned. We get John point of view chapters. If like this is not his first foray into like you know taunting with Ramsay. He sent letters before. He's not been like, ah, yes, Ramsay, I knew him well. We would have got that.
Okay, so we have this. We might add things to it, but I think this is a good place to start. I don't know how to do this. About how's this?
I keep it taller because we also need to have like things that the person knows. Like
Yes, things that must be
that
true.
needs to be a separate things they must know. They need to know who that there's a person named Reek at the very least. They need to know uh that Val exists. They need to know so many things.
Things about the writer that must be true for this letter to have been written.
Yes.
Let's start with the easy ones. They must be literate.
Yep.
Whoever wrote this, well, I'm pretty damn sure that Tormund Giantsbane didn't write this letter.
What an ultimate all-time twist that would
Oh
be.
my
I
god,
do
yeah.
there is a theory that Tormund is literate and he's faking it.
God, that's so good.
Maybe we
Um
put Tormund up later.
let's see. So, the person this person must know about Lightbringer. This person must know about Mance. Right? Keep it
Yeah,
rolling.
yes.
What else?
Yeah. They know about Val.
Know about Val. But right,
They
like,
know
and this is why this is getting kind of fishy, right?
yeah.
Because we assume, and of course we haven't even touched on why people think that the pink letter isn't written by Ramsay. Um, the easy answer is that it's written by Ramsay. But from a textual perspective, it's fishy, and we'll talk about that in a second. But from a metatextual perspective, you have the coolest character in the series, and he's dead off screen.
Yeah. You you have two of the coolest characters. Mance and Stannis are beloved and like one of them is dead and the other is imprisoned by a man who's going to torture him to death. There's no way Mance gets out of that alive, right?
Yeah, it doesn't track to
Uh,
me.
Ramsay's not the kind of person who's going to, even if he is like, "Hey, I have a hostage," you're never getting that hostage back when Ramsay has him. Like, and there are plenty of people in the story smart enough to know that. Meanwhile, we also know that Stannis isn't dead. We know this. This is true.
We do?
Uh, yes, it requires reading the Winds of Winter sample chapter, but yes,
Oh
we
yeah.
know.
Okay, hang on. Let's talk about um
Yeah.
uh uh George Martin has said in I'm not going to say no uncertain terms, in some uncertain terms that that the Winds of Winter sample chapter happens before the end of of Dance with Dragons.
Okay, yes, but the turnaround's kind of ridiculous in that case because
Oh my god, people have done like a lunar analysis, like
yeah,
tracking Stannis's march in the phases of the moon and saying that Jon Snow no, actually Jon Snow's death happened 2 weeks before the Battle of Ice. I'm sorry, 2 weeks after the Battle of Ice.
yes.
And I'm like, bro.
I
Look,
I don't know if that can be verified. What I do know is there's 7 days of combat by this letter's suggestion, right? That means he's got to be from where he is in the Dance with Dragons, like in the Winds of Winter, rather, chapter. You have to then append on however much marching and 7 days of battle. And I don't know if the marching is um quite like short, I guess is what I would say, right?
Look,
Like, he's still an appreciable distance from Winterfell. Uh,
if you want to say to me that George Martin is fucking with the timeline royally, I would totally believe you. You know, I can't lean on that as my evidence. Right? You want to say that Jon Snow actually died 10 chapters into, you want to say he died 22 chapters into the Winds of Winter? I will say why, but also fine, right? If I will live with you in this reality for a moment, it still doesn't freaking track for me.
yeah.
It doesn't track so hard. Like the timing just doesn't work. You
Yeah,
know? I don't
yeah,
know.
it's the timing, yeah. If Stannis is very much dead, as this is implying, uh, the timeline on it is, like, really suspicious, and, it's weird that we didn't get, like, any indication that it was gonna be this way. Same
Yeah.
with Mance getting captured.
Yeah, like even if I accept that the timeline is fucked, which I'm not saying I do, even if I
Yeah.
accept that, it's still fishy.
Yes.
Uh, all right. What else? What else must this writer know about? The writer must know about Aemon.
Yeah.
So this means that they have good working knowledge of the goings on at Castle Black. During the time before the fighting.
Yeah, they know exactly who is there, who was not there until very recently. Like, Val was not, there for, like, a year. She's been there for, charitably months, and less charitably than that, a month, maybe a little over. How long has Stannis been there? It's roughly the same amount of time.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's, like, pretty good information for places that don't, like, actively communicate about that stuff all that often.
They must this the writer must know about Bolton writing conventions.
Yeah, the wax they use, they have to have the wax too.
Yes,
They need to have, the paper and the parchment. They have not only knowledge of Bolton writing conventions, they have access to the means to write and send a letter, which means they also have a raven of some sort.
has wax and a raven. I hadn't even thought about the
And
raven.
and, paper too.
They
Like, they
they
need and a quill, presumably.
yeah, they must be. I'm not gonna say they must be in a rookery, but uh uh that seems natural to assume.
Or they can at least get in one, or they can make do.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Technically, somebody who could warg a bird and has, like, access to paper and wax and
Oh,
ink
don't
doesn't need a
start that
rookery.
shit.
Yep, that we're getting that's way too far down.
We'll get there, I promise.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh, let's see what else we got here. If they know about Gilly's baby, that means they know about the baby swap. Although that we can come back to that.
well, they know that Mance has a baby. They know that, and depending on your reading of that comma, they might know about the baby swap also. So they definitely know that Mance has a child, which is also probably not something that, like, just a random northern person would know. So they're aware of at least, Eamon Steel Song, or, you know, Monster, one of the two. Take your pick as to which one they believe in, or both. Uh,
This is something that I find quite notable. They know the exact number of spearwives.
yep. Which is kind of crazy because that means they all got caught if they're like, and also, like, they don't suspect there's any more out there because the spearwives aren't going to get caught as they're using guerrilla tactics. They're not going to get caught as a group. They're going to get caught
Yeah.
individually.
Even if you catch Mance and all six spearwives, that does not preclude the existence of more spearwives.
Yeah.
However, Mance you could say that if you have effectively tortured Mance or the spearwives, you could get that information out of them.
Yeah. Is there anybody else out there with torture you might know? Yeah.
Um, let's see. I don't know if we need to write this down because it's kind of common. They know about about Bolton flaying tradition. The cage is
Well,
cold, but I have made him a warm cloak from the skins of the 6 whores.
yes, they know the Boltons flay people,
Yeah,
although that is their also their emblem.
yeah,
What I
right.
find weird is the eating somebody's heart part at the end. As far as I know, Ramsay has never like displayed that desire to anyone before.
All right. That we'll probably add more to this, but that's enough for this section.
Yeah. So well, I feel like the cannibalism like aspect, it's weird. I don't
Right.
know if it says anything, but the person, I guess the other thing we can say for certain about this is this person clearly wants to like insult and hurt the feelings of Jon Snow. Like this is the intention is to insult Jon. I think no matter who wrote it is the like final thing you could put on there.
Now, one more thing before we do that.
Yeah,
Let's add that at the end if we want to, because I want to do
sure.
one more section. Fishy things.
Yeah, yeah, fishy
How
things.
do I want to phrase that? Because fishy's a little silly. Like things that don't make sense, things that don't quite square.
And I think fishy things is fine for that. But suspicious, I guess.
Suspicious
Suspicious
things.
thing. We can't go on together with
Right.
suspicious
And
minds.
and these are going to be the things that like these are the things that make everyone in the fandom go, huh, wait a minute, huh,
Yeah,
that's weird, that's super weird. This is
yeah,
weird, and this isn't a normal thing.
yeah. For example, Stannis doesn't seem quite to be dead, or at the very least, we have no evidence that Stannis is actually
Yeah,
dead.
the timeline. If this letter was sent contemporary, contemporarily with John, with where Stannis is in the story right now, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? Who? Okay, that's extremely strange. But just for the sake of argument, let's also discuss it if um there is like a 2 week gap between that battle between that last scene with Stannis in the Winds of Winter and Jon Snow getting the letter. I know that is quite a bit of suspension, but let's roll with that just for a little while.
Yeah.
Um
The the other the next suspicious thing I would say is the characterizations kind of all over the place.
yes. Uh calls uh uh calls Stannis false king.
Calls members of the Night's Watch crows. And this is the first instance of Ramsay desiring to engage in cannibalism that I can think of. We have heard plenty of quotes about Ramsay like fucking with people, but I've never heard him say he wants to eat somebody's heart.
Cannibalism? I I've never heard that either. It's very
Yeah,
strange, isn't it?
yeah. And it's not that much of a leap, right? If you've only heard a thing or two about Ramsay, I think he's probably eating the people also, especially because I'm sure, that's like a thing that a lot of people have done in Westerosi and Northern history is torture and eat people. I mean, we got a whole rat cook story about like, eating people. So I don't doubt that like that's where someone's mind could go, but we just don't have any evidence. It's never been stated that, Ramsay ate so and so. And we know George R. R. Martin, if he can work cannibalism into a story, he's going to do it. So it's a weird omission if Ramsay does want to eat people that he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, for sure. You know what else is weird? The battle lasted 7 days.
Yeah.
There was nobody ship shape in the last scenes we saw. The
Yeah.
people inside Winterfell are frayed to the breaking point, and
They
the
don't trust
people
each other
outside
either.
Winterfell are starving.
And yeah, the people in Winterfell also don't trust each other either.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to put those differences aside for 7 days of continuous fighting, like I'm sure there were breaks, I'm sure there were lulls, but like this wasn't like uh, you know, 7 days of like a siege. This was not 7 days of like, one big battle and then 6 days of hunting down the others. He says 7 days of battle.
Yeah.
That means there was active fighting going on for 7 days.
Which, you know what makes it sound to me? It makes it sound like a song.
Yeah.
Like a song, like a story, right? Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
Uh, like a song? Question mark? Right, the battle lasted 7. That's what they used to say, right? That's what they said in Sansa's old like in old Nan's stories. The battles lasted 7 days and 7 nights, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh,
I'm gonna put this here. The king's friends, which we just talked about, they are referred to as friends and not old Flint, right?
yeah.
It's not I have killed Sir Florent. It is the false king's friends are dead.
Yes, his friends are dead, and the other weird thing is uh, he he's like oddly focused on Mance as a hostage. Like Mance is a king beyond the wall to the wildlings, but that's irrelevant to the North. He has a guy that John has a relationship with him that Ramsay knows nothing about, or any other person. I'm assuming it's Ramsay because he's the one who says who wrote it. But uh, like who is Mance to John, right? Why is he a good enough hostage that you can exchange him for Celise, Shireen, and Mel and the baby, right? It's a little lopsided of a prisoner exchange.
Calls Mance king beyond the wall and like affords him a lot of respect.
Yes, and treats him as like a prime hostage.
Yeah. Like it's almost like he's talking about Mance as though he's talking about Stannis.
Yeah,
Does that track? Does this is
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
That
this
tracks.
adequately
That tracks.
spaced? Okay, cool. I got a weird
That,
I
that
got a weird one for you.
yeah,
Um we assert, I think quite reasonably, that this is all designed to provoke Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, I said the one thing we should put down about the writer, and it's also a suspicious thing. We can put it sort of in the like little crossover thing we've got going here. This is trying to get a rise out of Jon Snow very specifically. The goal of this is to piss this guy off. Like, you can't really fathom it to mean much else other than to say, "Ha ha, you lost," which is what you say when you're trying to piss somebody off. I bet if you walk up to somebody who just lost the Super Bowl and said, after 4 long quarters, your team lays wasted. I want your coach. I have your trophy captain. They're gonna punch you in the fucking face.
Your false LA Kings are dead. Um
tell tell his red gambling website.
I want his Heisman trophy. your quarterback took 7 penalties. Okay, I got a weird one for you. Right, we assert that he's trying to provoke Jon, which I think is very reasonable.
Yeah,
However, you ready for this shit?
yeah,
Boop calls uh 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 I don't know how to phrase this because there's so many levels of weird. Calls Jane my bride
yeah.
instead of Arya.
Which is, yeah, odd, and also like putting the name Arya in there would immediately jump up the priority of John freaking out,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. If you wanted to piss off John, don't say I want my bride back. Say bring me back Arya Stark. It's use her name.
Uh,
Right? Use the name Arya Stark.
yeah, that's John's most beloved relative, who he has not seen and is not aware of the fact is alive.
Yes. Um Here's another one. Refers right, we talked about this earlier, refers to Reek as Reek and not Theon.
Yes.
Again, if you're looking to piss off John,
Bring back Theon. Oh, another person you care about,
right?
who you remember from your childhood. Yeah. Like if you're really trying to get yeah, that right there is fine for it. Uh like that's such a like obvious play, right?
So
Hit him with the like hit him with the people he knows. If this was, if I was trying to piss off Daenerys, hostages, I would like you need to bring me back, I don't know, Jorah Mormont and Barristan Selmy, like names she's gonna recognize, like, oh, you have them hostage?
yeah,
Like even if she's pissed at Jorah, like it's like, whoa, wait a second, I don't want him held hostage.
right. You
Uh,
don't say I have the Stone Man. You say I have Jorah Mormont.
yeah,
You don't say Reek. John has no idea who Reek is.
yeah, these names are meaningless to him, and it'd be weird, especially because Ramsay knows the identity of both these people for real,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows the fake identity too. Like he can say, Jane is Arya because he's the one maintaining that lie, and he can also say that Reek is Theon and tell the truth for maximum emotional damage. It makes it seem like whoever wrote this is unaware of that, but thinks, I don't know, the name Reek might ring a bell to John or something like that, which it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
So this reads to me as someone who knows that Reek escaped with Jane, but doesn't know that Reek is Theon. Knows how Ramsay feels about Reek, but not that Reek is Theon.
Yeah.
Because if I
Which
was Ramsay, right, we already in A Dance with Dragons, we have seen Ramsay and Roose use Theon being Theon to their advantage, right? That's how they took back Moat Cailin. Um, by saying to Theon, "Go be Theon again," get them to yield the castle. Uh,
yeah.
and it's weird to not use that here, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
it's
he has
weird to
weaponized his identity multiple times. Why not do it again?
right
And
like
and
you could say maybe it's useful to protect that information, but I'm over here like you are putting in a letter that your bride has been stolen, but not who stole them.
yeah,
Like what the hell? It's all really weird.
it's incredible. And also, if you're aiming for maximum like emotional damage on John and your name is Ramsay Bolton, you have the burned bodies that are allegedly Bran and Rickon. You can bring that up. I'm looking at the charred corpses of your younger brothers right now and laughing, bastard. Right? You can talk about the fall of his family. You can talk about. You could make stuff up about Ned's bones, stuff like that.
It's
Uh,
so not Ramsay.
yeah, yes, and he would go there. He would absolutely every insult in the book, every pain he can inflict, he will do it. So I don't think it's Ramsey.
Also there's
Let's run through the Ramsey evidence now. I feel like it'd be a
yeah,
good time to start.
there's
The
also no power thing. You know, Ramsay
Yeah,
loves his power things, and there's no power thing in here. Um, what does it say? Send them to me, and I will not trouble you. That's not his style. Send them to me and accompany them yourself so you can kiss my fucking boot.
Yeah.
Is more his style. Okay, all right, let's talk about it. Let's discuss the Ramsey argument. Boop, it's signed Ramsey Bolton.
And it seems to track with his handwriting for the most part.
It doesn't not track.
Yes.
It's weird. The other two letters that we see, I just rewatched the Alt Shift X video on this today. The other two letters that we see from Ramsey Bolton, are one to John and one to Asha, I think. And they are described in almost identical fashions. This one is much less described. So it doesn't not track.
But also, like, John has seen another letter from Ramsey before, so he at least he doesn't notice any differences in it.
Yes, we'll say that. John is not suspicious.
He does not doubt for a second, having read another letter that we believe to be from Ramsey, which either means that letter is faked, which is a much taller order to prove,
Now I should
or
say. Oh, go ahead.
or he just didn't notice, or the handwriting was passable enough, which are also possibilities.
Yeah.
If it looked very different, I think he would have mentioned it.
I should
John's relatively
note.
smart.
Let's do the cons, right? What's the against for Ramsey?
It's oddly focused on things he doesn't know, or like could only get through torture at the wall, and brings up very little of the relevant Winterfell stuff, especially Theon and Arya, which would be his top priority. That is what he's most bad about. That, like, those are the keys to his power, to an extent, and his legitimacy is, I'm married to Arya Stark, and if it gets out that she's not Arya Stark, that's going to be a little bit of a problem and a little bit of a blow to the, like, sort of regime I've set up. And he has Reek, who is Theon, who he can use to fuck with the Greyjoys and the Ironmen, and them escaping is his biggest priority. What the hell does he want with Shireen? What the hell does he want with a wildling baby?
Why? How does he know? How does he even know about the wildling baby?
Yeah.
Did he have spies at the wall while he was under siege? It doesn't track for me. Wouldn't use the word crow. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't eat people.
Yep. This is his first known desire to engage in cannibalism.
I should note, by the way, that though John is not suspicious of the letter, I believe Tormund is. Tormund. This is the famous line. If I had a goose quill and a pot of maester's ink, I could say that my member was as long and thick as my arm, but it wouldn't make it so.
Yes.
Which is to say, anyone could write this letter. It really does not track for Ramsey for me. He knows the number of spear wives. He knows about Mance and Val and Aemon. He knows about Lightbringer. He treats Mance with respect. Like, it just doesn't seem to make sense. I don't buy that it's Ramsey. What do you think? And also from like a procedural perspective, not a procedural perspective, from like a from a meta perspective, the first response, the first answer to a question that we're given is almost never the correct one.
Well, we're having a great episode for
Whoa.
computers.
Hold on, Zach. I need to pull your
Yep.
volume down. Hang on. Woo.
Uh, I
Hold
just
on, please. Okay, go ahead.
I said we're having a great episode for doing irreparable damage to our computers.
And irreparable damage to our viewers' ears.
Yeah, this one might need to get edited.
Ah, no. Fight me. Okay. So, what do you think? What do you think about it? You know what? We're gonna do the same thing that we did for the trial of Jaime Lannister. What do we think about Ramsay? I think Ramsay's got like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 10 is a good number.
Right? Am I gonna be mad about it? No, but I'm gonna be like, meh. The explanation better be good. Right. If it's Ramsay, then the gap between the Battle of Ice and Jon's death better be like 6 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
Who would you like to talk about next? Why don't we talk about my favorite?
Yeah, let's do your favorite.
My favorite. Not necessarily the one that I believe anymore, but my favorite is for sure Bowen Marsh. This is one of my favorite series. It's on YouTube. This is the Preston Jacobs Daggers in the Dark theory series, where he asserts with some really spectacular evidence that Bowen Marsh and some of the higher ups at the Night's Watch conspired to give Jon the pink letter so that he would publicly declare that he was leaving the Watch and going to take back Winterfell so that they would have an excuse to publicly execute him.
I do like this one.
It's very good. It's very good.
I should note I do not believe it, but
this is fine. The theory what's the timeline of event? This was the one that I was gonna do your favorite theories on. Asserts that Clytus has been getting Jon drunk. Because Jon drinks with Clytus a number of times over the course of the series, over the course of the last 2 books that he is in.
I actually put Clytus down as a possible author also, so if you want to bump him in.
I'm sorry. I should have said that from the jump. Bowen Marsh / Clytus is always how this theory goes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Bowen Marsh is the orchestrator and Clytus is the author.
Yes.
Clytus has been getting Jon drunk. Ghost has been sensing treachery. Let's see. Bowen Marsh and the Night's Watch obviously know about a lot of this, and notably, don't know about Theon. Right? They have no way of knowing that Theon is Reek.
Yeah.
They know about Lightbringer. They know about Mance. They know about Val. Clytus, of course, would know about Bolton writing conventions. There is a question about and I'm going to say I'm just making this one a list because I'm going to talk about this for a while. Might not know the exact number of Spearwives. Right? Because that little conspiracy was only Jon, Mel, and Mance. They were the only ones who did that. However, Bowen Marsh is the chief steward, and it wouldn't be hard for him to post watchers in strategic places to see Mance and 6 Spearwives riding away from the castle. They clean the castle. They will know how many people are in the castle at any given time to a certain degree. So, that one doesn't necessarily break the thing. Let's see what else. They wouldn't they wouldn't call they wouldn't call John they wouldn't call Night's Watch a crow.
No, not unless they're trying to implicate somebody.
Yeah, which and in this moment they're trying to implicate Ramsay, and of course Clytus would know that Ramsay also Clytus is a sensible person. He would not know that he would rather know that a northern lord would not call the Night's Watch crows.
And more, yeah, he's from presumably Westeros, some other kingdom. He presumably knows that that's not what they say in Westeros, because that's where he lived and grew up, and he's also, a maester. He studied at the Citadel to some capacity, or at least studied under Maester Aemon to some capacity. He's cultured to an extent.
I love it. I love it. I love the assertion that that John has been getting drunk thanks to Clyde, like really drunk thanks to Clytus really consistently. And I actually just read through John's dance chapters in preparation for this, and it really does track that John is fucking hammered when he dies. John is not the best swordsman in Westeros, but he is a very skilled swordsman.
Yeah.
He is quite competent, and he has Longclaw on his hip at the time that he dies. One of the conspirators slashes him, catches him in the face, and he does not have Longclaw drawn when he dies. In fact, it is described as his fingers felt slow and clumsy.
Yeah.
I think he was wasted.
Yeah, he was given alcohol to make it so that he couldn't defend himself, and there's a history of this in these very novels. That's how Bobby B goes out.
Exactly. This is how Robert Baratheon dies.
You might want to change my volume again. I got my computer working.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I just turned you back up.
Okay, good.
Yep. What else? What else is in this theory? It's really awesome. It really does sum it up very well. It's really tidy. There's just a couple of things that are weird, like the cannibalism bit. Maybe they've heard about the brutality of Ramsay Bolton, so they just guessed. They guessed that he might eat people.
As I've said, that's not a bad guess. If I started describing Ramsay Bolton to somebody who'd never heard of the character before, and I said make some assumptions about the character, I feel like cannibalism would be a place you'd go.
Right, that's super reasonable. That's not to say that it necessarily tracks for me, but I do really like it. Let me see if I can pick anything else up. See if this is the main thrust of this theory. If Clytus and Bowen didn't write the pink letter, man, did they profit out of it.
Yes, they got exactly what they wanted.
Profited the most by far.
Well, it's hard to tell. Clytus, the one thing we don't know for sure is how deeply involved he might have been with such a conspiracy.
Oh, dude, he handing the pink letter to John, my dude is so nervous.
That's true.
My dude 100% read that letter.
But it's unopened when he gives it to him, which means
no.
If he did read it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Ready? Things. Well, we'll put this down here. This is one of the differences between the other letters, which are sealed with a button of hard pink wax. This one is sealed with a smear of pink wax. So, a clever maester who has been working with working with Maester Aemon as long as he has, been working with letters as long as he has, I think that he could adequately reseal a letter. And I think that that is what he has done. A
Interesting.
smear of pink wax. It's a smear. George Martin never wastes a word, you know?
Yes.
It's a smear of pink wax, suggesting that someone that it was done in a hurry, maybe? You know what? Maybe this
Yeah.
is in the wrong place. Maybe this belongs in fishy things. Get down there. You can hang out. Yeah, you can hang out right here. Uh-oh, who did I cut apart? Uh-oh, I cut somebody's name apart. Well, there it is.
Sorry about that, Patreon supporters.
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure who. Oh, it was I sliced off a tiny bit of DJ Ewok. I'm sorry.
Sorry, DJ Walk.
My bad. My bad, dude. Yes. Okay. So what else? What else? So that's this theory, right? Clytus and
I
Bone
feel like
Marsh really profited if they didn't write it.
they really profited. It's unlikely they knew about everything that had to do with the Spearwives and Mance. They give a weird amount of respect to Mance, and they also know about Reek, and they know about his bride escaping, which is really weird. That they know that like if they know about Reek, it's because it got mentioned in a previous letter, and they wouldn't know that he's gone. So that's I think the biggest knock against this is
Right.
it has a stunningly accurate depiction of Reek and Jane's whereabouts, and an odd like preferential treatment to Mance Raider. Also, I don't know what they gain from saying Stannis is dead, right? Like that news is going to get out. Unless of course like, they think they can cover it up or something like that. But
I mean, that has to be what they think. They just murdered John.
well, yeah, but does John not read this aloud to people or share that information?
He does. I believe he reads it aloud to the whole Shield Hall.
Yeah,
Like
okay, yeah. So
100
so
wildlings and 50 Night's Watchmen.
good luck convincing those people not go say Stannis is dead to everybody around, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're you get to take out John, sure, but you've just led to like a power struggle happening underneath the feet that you've just the ground that you've made to claim your right to be Lord Commander. Bowen Marsh has led to with the wildlings rioting because their king is captured, and the Kingsmen of Stannis rioting because their king is dead. That
Nah, you ready for this shit?
mhm.
If we take this theory to be true, like Bowen Marsh and everyone else who murders John, this is not a murder of opportunity, right? This is coordinated.
Yes.
I think it is probably reasonable that, like, frankly, a lot of the wildlings are probably dead.
Oh, and this is pretext to kill all the people they have problems with.
Absolutely. And like, who the fuck's gonna question you? The only
And
person
and
there
then you
is
can tell
Selyse, right?
you can tell all the
You say to Selyse, we got this letter, John went crazy, the wildlings started attacking people, so you need to stay in your room. We'll take care of it.
and then later, so Stannis is dead, so your reason for being here is completely pointless. You should all go or join the Watch, one or the other.
If it turns out that Stannis isn't dead, 2 months from now, he struggles back having one Winterfell. We say, hey, we got this weird letter. What the fuck is this about?
Yeah.
My
Huh,
God,
I
we
guess
thought we were dead.
right.
Oh no, I guess Ramsay lied. Man, it's just a fucking wild. It's a terrible thing that happened in the Night's Watch. It is a full coup.
Yeah.
Good chance Tormund's dead. Good chance that baller with the boar is dead. Good chance that everyone at the Night's Watch is dead. Every wildling. like if this is coordinated, this could happen. Like if they manage to recruit Three Finger Hob, who we know doesn't like wildlings. He says, "quote
Yeah.
what did he say? He said I signed up for the Night's Watch to fight wildlings, not cook for them." He says that at the wedding feast, I think.
Yeah.
It's entirely plausible that he just fucking poisoned all the wildlings.
Yeah, that is true.
Same
He
day.
could have done that.
Shit, man,
I,
that sucks.
I feel like there's a lot of leaps and assumptions in this one, and it is also very weird the amount of respect they're paying to Mance in this
That's
letter.
true. That is true.
And that they have an accurate depiction of Jane and Theon. Yeah,
Okay. Then
they
in
could have
that,
just as easily had Ramsay give no respect to Mance, and it's weird that he does.
wait a minute. I fucking solved it. Holy shit, I
Okay.
actually fucking solved it.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. One of the things that is the weirdest in this whole thing is the timeline.
Yes.
So what if they fucking sat on the letter? What if they got the letter a month ago and they sat on it? And they said this is going to be Clytus opened it, called Bowen Marsh in and said, "Hey, look at this shit."
Yeah.
They resealed it and waited a month and got all their shit together, and they used this as their opportunity to throw the coup. Because if these things are unrelated, it sure is wild that the coup happened the same day.
Or they or they got a different letter and they edited it, right? Or well, I think that actually that makes the most sense. They got the letter, and it had it was from somebody else, maybe Ramsay, maybe Mance, and they realized uh this could be used to piss him off, and maybe they threw in the heart eating at the end, right? Maybe they threw in the like incendiary stuff to piss him off right at the end. Uh because, there's a space between the uh end and the signature because you always sign at the bottom. So if there's any extra space, they could just fill it in.
You are suggesting multiple authors to the Pink Letter.
I think I've always been a Mance wrote the pink letter person, but uh Mance wrote the pink letter and Clytus edited it to make it more incendiary. That's not insane.
You gotta admit, it's pretty fishy that the coup happens the same day.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect timing to have the letter immediately lead to a coup. They could have been waiting for their opportunity, but yeah, it's entirely possible. Mance sends this out, and I guess we're going to Mance next.
Yeah.
Mance sends this out for his political purpose, and it gets intercepted by somebody who has a different political purpose, who sees the wonderful opportunity this letter provides.
So what do you? I'm gonna start us off with a con here because I think this is the strongest con. Say again.
I said,
Says my people have bled enough. He loves his people.
Yes.
He does. That's why he's doing all this dumb shit, because he wants to save the wildlings from the White Walkers. And he says verbatim, "My people have bled enough." Why would he send this letter intended to piss off John so that John would get up a bunch of wildlings and ride them south? Why would he want the wildlings to ride in force to war?
Probably because he knows that the wall isn't safe for them. There are members of the Night's Watch who don't want to, have them around. There's Stannis' whole crew who are neutral at best to the wildlings at this point. And their entire purpose was to get south of the wall, not to the wall. And moreover, he knows about some of the magical stuff outside there, and he probably knows that there are magical items that may or may not destroy the entire wall. Like,
knows the wall is not impenetrable.
yeah. If his people have bled enough, Jormun's horn getting blown and destroying the wall potentially would be
Ooh.
too much bleeding.
That's extremely fun.
Yeah.
Zach, I want you to know that I've completely like redone my intent for this this activity. We are now looking for the sender that the Night's Watch conspirators sat on.
Yeah. They went until they resealed it. They read the letter, said, okay, this will get him pissed off. Maybe they edited it, maybe they didn't. And they resealed it and gave it to him after they had gotten him drunk, after they had gotten their knives in order. That's why Clitus was so nervous giving him the letter. He knew that it was all based on his reaction. If John didn't say something that could be used as pretext, their entire coup they planned would have to wait again. And if it did happen, well, then they had to murder him, didn't they?
Zach, that does kind of fix the timeline.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mance
is that
Mance
original?
sends
Tell
a
me
letter.
in the comments if that's an original theory, because that's pretty fucking
Mance,
good. That's copyrighted us.
Yeah, Mance wrote the letter. Bo and Marsh used it for political opportunity. That solves all the issues as far as I'm concerned.
Hold on, I still don't necessarily. I need more convincing.
Okay. Everything that the writer of the letter knows, he knows. He knows everything that is stated in the things about the writer.
Hang on, let's see.
And he is the only person I can think of, with one exception, who I will bring up immediately after we talk about Mance, who might know all these things. He is the one person I can say for sure knows all these things.
Yeah. I think we're about to get to the same next person.
Maybe not.
We'll
but there I was thinking about I'm not talking about Mel, actually. Mel is another person who does know everything.
I was just reorienting. Continue about Mance, because I'm still not convinced.
He knows about Lightbringer. He knows about Val. He knows about Aemon. He knows the exact number of Spearwives, and he has snuck into Winterfell many a time before. We know this. He mentions it.
Yeah.
He was there for the feast that Benjen was at with the king. He snuck down just to see King Robert at Winterfell because he thought it'd be fun.
And he would say, "I want the wildling babe. I want the little prince," because of course, that's on the forefront of his mind. It's his kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
This is all pretext. Could all be pretext to get his kid.
Yeah. He needs to get his kid and he needs to get his people. And also, like, there's a little bit like, have you ever thought of Mance Rayder as like a Moses allegory before?
Yes, I have. I think that's a really good. Yeah, I think that rocks.
This is his like scheme to get his people to the land that he promised them. Like, he is willing to lay it all on the line and blow things up to get them to safety, to get his kid back, and to get the like promise that he made to them fulfilled. Like, it's do or die time. If they don't get out of there soon, the Night's Watch could kill them, which, as you said, might be in the process of happening. And the wall might come down. And also, like, yeah, his kid is gone. There was a baby swap and everything. The phrasing of the letter implies he's aware that there's two different children there, of which only he and Mel know for sure. And John.
I don't even think that he knows.
Really?
Yeah, the only person who knows, the only people that we know are Gilly, Sam, Eamon, John, and Val.
Interesting.
And we suspect Melisandre knows.
And she either doesn't care or got the baby she intended because she actually wants Craster's Targaryen king's blood. Check out the Craster Targaryen theory.
Dude, I listened through the John chapters of Dance just recently, and that still tracks. That's not bottom half of our theories.
Yeah. So this is all. Yeah, this gets him his kid back, whether he knows it's a baby swap or not. This is a good first step, right?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Of course it doesn't, because this is designed to piss off John. John is not bringing Val and the baby on warring. It would have been better to impersonate Stannis.
I suppose.
Right.
It could be that he intends for more than one person to read this, right? It's not just targeted to John. It could be that, he tipped somebody off there as well, and he made it so inflammatory so John would share it with others. Like, if the goal was to make a scene, the letter does the job very well. If I got a letter, you got to imagine if I got hate mail this bad, the first thing I would do is calling you, right? Like, there's no way I get a letter like this and don't tell you and my mom and share it with my roommates. Probably tell my dad if it's starting super threatening. My brother for sure. People know where he lives. Like I'd be passing the word along. It's possible there's an intention to get this so that the wildlings are like, okay, like it's terrible, but we need our king back. We're gonna go down and get him. And they say, and we're gonna, take Val and we're gonna take the babe just to make sure that you don't try and trade him back, because we don't trust you, John, in the Night's Watch, and you betrayed us before. But that's
you think there's a chance that he's trying to get Tormund to spook and run?
Yeah, get Tormund to lead the rest down, because
but Mance doesn't even know that Tormund's there.
It doesn't need to be Tormund. It just needs to be somebody, right? There's a plenty of people who have leadership roles in the wildlings. All that needs to happen is enough of them need to say, based on what we now know, that Stannis is dead, that things are falling apart here, that Mance is captured, we are going to go south and get him. We have to get our king, and we're going to, we're wildlings. We travel together. We're, somewhat nomadic. We're going to take everybody we need to take for safekeeping. We're leaving nobody behind.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to talk about this has been on my mind since I read these chapters. Have you ever thought about the numbers involved with the wildlings?
Sometimes, yeah.
They're horrible. Mance's host was it was 100,000 men, I believe.
Yeah.
When Tormund surrenders and crosses, he brings 4,000 people. And when they're talking with Bowen Marsh, they say there's 4,000 here and twice that many at Hardhome. 12,000 survivors of 100,000.
Yeah.
The rest are they could be with the Weeper because there are other bands still alive.
Yeah.
But most of them are walkers by the time winter falls. Truly.
Yeah. Most of them are whites. Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah. And if that's the scenario you're at, wouldn't you do something desperate to get your people to safety?
If he knows that there's 85,000 dead men coming to eat him.
You're going to get everybody else as far south as you can, as quick as you can.
But Mance doesn't know. Mance doesn't know that there are wildling soldiers at the wall. He knows that there's like 400.
He doesn't need them all to be there. He needs at least one person to relay the message to the rest of the wildlings, and he needs the Night's Watch to be either preoccupied with a different conflict or in disarray. And this letter guarantees one of the two, right? Either John goes along and attacks Ramsay, and the Night's Watch is behind him in that endeavor, or they call him an oathbreaker and stab him and start a massive infighting breaks out. And that's what happens, and that was the other likely scenario. Either way, the Night's Watch can't deal with wildlings getting through at that point, right?
These are all facts. These are true facts. I'm not convinced the logic doesn't necessarily track for me. The only way I could see this working for Mance Rayder is if he was expecting John to actually surrender Val and Shireen and Aemon.
There is another interesting explanation
Okay.
of a name that's not on here that I do kind of buy. Although there's a lot we don't know about this person.
You want to get to that at the end? We got a lot more space to fill on this.
I wanna talk about the more serious contenders first, and then we'll talk about the less likely among them, if that's okay by you.
Are you suggesting that these are the less serious?
I have one who I think is more serious than everybody except maybe Wyman Manderley.
Hang on. I think that this Wyman Manderley is not my next most serious.
Who's your next most serious?
Let's talk about my number 2. My number 1
Okay.
is Bowen Marsh. I just love that theory so much.
Okay, you know what? We'll do your number 2, and then we'll do my number 2, who's not on the board, and we'll go down the totem pole, or ski lift, or I don't know, other terms.
Or yawning chasm, as it were.
Yawning chasm.
My
We'll
number 2 is
down
Theon
your
Greyjoy.
list. Interesting. Okay, give me
Yeah.
your Theon pitch.
I thought it was stupid. But then I have not read the sample chapters for the Winds of Winter, but you know, sometimes they trickle into my brain. Just because
You have read one of
does
them.
that.
You have very much read one of them.
Oh, I've read one of them. But not this one.
know, yes.
Let's see. It is in Stannis' camp. We know this. So he could know all of this. Right? In the same way that Stannis could know all of this. He could know all of this. Right? He knows about Mance. He knows about Val. I should say, the camp knows about Mance and knows about Val. Knows about Aemon. So just by like listening to the people around him, he could get a little bit of that. Notably, he doesn't know about Tormund. And Tormund is not mentioned.
Yes.
Satisfies the weird the weird naming of Reek and My Bride.
Yep.
Right.
There's two ways about this. He's either like tiptoeing around it because he doesn't want John. Maybe his goals are like different, right? He's presumably not doing this to get John killed. He's doing this to get John concerned. If he I guess I'm torn. Theon, if he's trying to get like help, might say Theon and Arya to pique his interest. But we have to talk about Theon Durden here. We have to talk.
Oh, go ahead.
You're familiar with that nickname for the Ghost in Winterfell, the strange man that Theon meets, is actually himself, right?
Yeah, I have heard this. I'm not sure that I buy it, but go ahead.
Uh, the Ghost in Winterfell. Let me pull it up.
All right. While you're
There's
doing
a
that, I'll list a couple more. Like Theon has this very fucky identity thing
yeah,
where he doesn't think he knows that Ramsay would never use the word Theon.
yeah,
Because it's just not, he knows his style. Um
yeah.
and unless it is really politically advantageous, would not do that. He also says my bride, which has sort of a dehumanizing uh uh factor. Both of which could be the way, I don't, that doesn't track for Ramsay for me, but that could definitely track for Ramsay for Theon. Um there's a couple more really good pieces for Theon.
Run through that while I pull together my hooded man aspect.
For sure. In the Winds of Winter sample chapter, um, he tells Jane to pretend to be Arya. So Stannis and their whole camp think they have Arya Stark, um, which can understandably get Theon into some trouble when they find out that she's not. He thinks, I think reasonably, that the northern host might lose hope if they realize that they came here for just some random person. So he tells her to lie. It could be the case that he wants Jon to come not to relieve the host, but to bail him out
That's true.
of this predicament. Right? He wants Jon to show up and vouch that no, this is not Arya, this is Jane Poole. And this is not Reek, this is Theon. And having a third party there who isn't starving might be useful for bailing him out of this situation.
Yeah.
But all of that is a little like Machiavellian for Theon at this stage in his life.
Yes, unless we're thinking there's an alternate identity to Theon, which is the hooded man that he runs into.
Okay.
I'll chime in with this now.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a chapter called "The Ghost in Winterfell," and there's this conspiracy going on that there is somebody ghost-like killing people in Winterfell, and also the title refers to very specifically, it's Reek's point of view.
Yeah.
He's the chapter's from the point of view of a ghost in Winterfell.
Yeah.
So it's weird that he meets a man who can be described as ghostly, the hooded man. The person calls him Theon Turncloak and Theon Kinslayer. Calling him a Kinslayer would make sense if you thought of him as the brother in all but blood of Bran and Rickon.
But nobody thinks of him that way but him.
Except him.
Yeah.
And he knows they're not dead. But then we have to talk about the Butcher's boys, who he does kill, who might be his kids.
Which, by the way, the Crofters kids, that is where Stannis' camp is right now.
Yeah, the Crofters kids and the Butcher's boy, the one the Hound kills.
Butcher's boy.
I can't remember all these career name for child people that exist. The Crofters kids might be his. And if that's the case, he is a kinslayer. He killed his own children to make it look like he killed Bran and Rickon.
Okay.
If that's the case, we can see there's like a darker identity to Theon. He is seeing a version of himself. And I also want to talk about, have you ever heard of a poem called Antagonish?
Yes, yes. There was a man upon the stair. Oh, how I wish he wasn't there.
He wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, um, it's about running into a man who wasn't there. And it's supposed to be like kind of contradictory. It also inspired the David Bowie song "The Man Who Sold the World." Uh, and it's about passing and meeting somebody mysterious who may or may not exist. And is that not exactly what Theon does to the Hooded Man?
You know that this does kind of track. So, you think that he's like full like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hiding?
That entirely possible. And that if you want to say that Theon, this was oddly Machiavellian for Theon, if he's got a like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, uh, Mr. Hyde, not my hiding, but
I
sorry,
cannot
I'm gonna save
believe
you.
my hide.
Yeah, if he's Mr. Hiding this, that makes a lot more sense as to how oddly Machiavellian and how like out of character for Theon it is. He's already behaving out of character, especially if he is potentially. It's not the Spearwives killing people. It's like a Mr. Hyde Theon who like snaps and becomes a killer of his you know captors and oppressors and abusers. That would track.
And it would also be pretty baller.
Yes.
I have one more piece for Theon, I think. Um, in the Winds of Winter sample chapter, um, appears to begin to Green Sea. He talks to
Ooh.
Bran. At least he seems to talk to Bran. And he requests an execution in front of a weirwood tree. The trees start talking to Theon.
Yeah.
So you could say Theon is one of the people who could have access to all of this information if he is able to get a little bit of Bran download.
Yeah. That's true. He would have every bit of information that he needs.
Mm-hmm. But then we have to have a Theon is a Greenseer conversation.
That's a bit of a leap.
And I am unwilling to have that conversation in the middle of this video.
Some other thing,
So
perhaps, yes.
that's Theon. Theon's my number 2.
Okay, I'm gonna bump over to my number 2. Who's
Before
gonna
we
need to be thrown up
do,
on
we
the
have
board?
not been scoring these. Give me a score on Bowen Marsh.
Let's go with the 7.5, 8.
I'm happy with a 7.5.
And I feel like that's the same score for Mance.
Fuck you. I'm giving
Seven
him
and a half.
I'm giving him a 7.25, and you can't do anything.
7.25. Okay, you know what? That's fine.
Hang on, is this off the page?
With the 10 will be. Yeah.
Give me boop 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 boop. Fine. 7 out of 10. Just so that it'll fit. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Wait, no, we can put it down here. 7.25. Go. Theon, how do you feel about a 6?
I can do a 6.
It's fun. I don't buy it, I think, but it is fun.
We're going to be getting a lot of Theon character development if that's the case, right?
Yes.
Like the things that need to happen to justify that are going to take chapters of explanation.
And I think that we've spent enough time with Theon to justify that. We've seen such a dramatic recovery that he could become a main character in the next book.
I agree. So it's not out of the question. It's just not. There's a few more things we need to learn that we don't know.
Oh, maybe maybe he's the one who has to deal with Ned's bones.
Ooh, maybe.
Like an apology to the dad who raised him. All right, Zach, you have a better one than these that is not on this list?
Yes.
Okay.
I have Maester Tybalt.
Oh, Maester Tybalt is with I'm getting rid of Melisandre.
Yeah.
Maester Tybalt is with Stannis.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
a lot of people who I think are fucking crazy
mhm.
lump Theon and Maester Tybalt.
I think Maester Tybalt has a good enough like motive to do it on his own.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead. I don't know too much about
He
this character.
he is tasked to spy on. He goes up with Ellis Karstark, uh, and his whole thing is he gets caught spying. He is there with ravens because he's working, ostensibly pretending to be the Carhold Maester, but he's actually the Dreadfort Maester.
What?
So he would have. He's the Maester of the Dreadfort.
What? Who is this? Where is this?
This is in a sample chapter you haven't read yet.
Damn it.
Winds of Winter.
Okay.
He gets caught spying, and he has used his ravens to send back the exact location of Stannis' army. He's pretending to be the Maester for the Karstarks. He's actually the Maester for the Boltons. Meaning, we know for a fact he has ravens because we see them in the chapter, and we know he has the means to send a letter because he's a Maester, and we also see that he has that. And we know he sent one to the back to either the Dreadfort or Winterfell, reporting on Stannis' location, his troop numbers, all that. And they talk about in that chapter that he claims that his Stannis contests this claim, but he claims that his birds are extraordinarily rare. They're trained to fly between multiple different towers, including ones at the Wall. Which, if
Interesting.
that is the case, it's implying he could have sent something to Castle Black. He had the means to send a raven to Castle Black. He had one trained to go there.
Can send birds to the Wall and other places. This implies that the pink letter could have had multiple recipients.
Yes.
That like it could have gone to um uh 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 you know where the Pikachu excuse me. There's only ever two. That it could have gone to like Last Hearth and then the Wall or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be part of somebody, potentially like Roose, not himself writing the letter because it seems maybe beneath him, and he's also got other things to do, but potentially somebody is trying to start a conflict between John and Ramsay for political purposes. And as a maester, he would be able to send that letter out and do exactly that. And so, even possible that he was like sending, fake letters back to Ramsay from John. We don't have evidence of that, obviously. That's speculation. But if he is working just for the Boltons, that could be perhaps Roose's deal, right? Especially if you believe Bolton and he needs Ramsay to steal the face of. Having him die in a like hectic battle and then stealing his face would be a pretty good cover. And yeah, it's a character we never heard of, which is like a little bit of a knock against it for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a bit of a con for sure.
But like
Who
having
wrote
a
the pink letter?
spy,
Oh, it's this other guy.
sure. Well, having a spy in the mix like does explain it.
Yeah,
Just
that does make things more complicated.
but then you get to the interesting, like, are there other spies in the mix? Is he the only one? Sort of ordeal. Is it possible there was a conspiracy to try and I don't know. This could also be Ramsay's conspiracy, right? Like send out a spy, have him like keep tabs on the Night's Watch, try and find a convenient moment to create conflict there, try and spread disinformation on purpose. Like if you don't want Stannis getting any more reinforcements, the best thing you can say is he lost and he's dead. If you don't want the wildlings to like play ball, have them get into a conflict over whether they should go rescue Mance or not. If you want to cause political strife with the people who might reinforce an opponent who's on their way, he did that.
Looking for strife within the wildlings?
And
I
also
mean, it does
and also
track. I hate it, but it does.
and also like nobody's going to come and reinforce Stannis. This ensures no reinforcements, right? Like he's dead. The battle's over. You don't go and reinforce when the king is dead. And this also explains why it doesn't fit with Ramsay's knowledge, but it has like the pressing issue of Reek is gone, and he also doesn't know that Reek is Theon presumably, so he wouldn't think to use that. It fixes a lot of the inconsistencies, but it is kind of a cop out. But god damn it if everything doesn't just kind of work, right?
Yeah, it does all kind of fit into place. Maester
It implies
Tybalt
that
rents
there's
it, sends it to the wall. Bowen Marsh and Clytus sit on it for a week, prepare their coup, and everything goes to shit.
Yep. And it was meant specifically to scare off more reinforcements, scare off the people who might come for a second. Like, if you think you have a shot of winning that battle, you don't have a shot of winning the battle after it, right? Like, they have to know if they beat Stannis, they're going to have a ton of wounded men. They're going to have a ton of damage. They're still going to be low on food. They're still
That's a
going to
lot
have
of damage.
poor morale.
I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this. The
You can give it
problem
like
is,
a 5.5.
I
Like
hate it.
it solves everything very unsatisfyingly.
I'm going to give it a dash out of 10. Right. It gets no score. This did not qualify for the tournament. It was a late entry.
I think
I'm
you
not
can give
saying we didn't appreciate the routine, but I'm afraid we can't officially score you on the board.
you can give it a 5. It perfectly fills all the things, but man, it would be underwhelming.
I'm gonna give it a plus out of 10.
Plus, there we go. If unless we develop a like plot more that there was a like faction of like Bolton spies in the wall or in the watch in Stannis's camp, that could be a fun story arc, but if so, they set it up kind of late.
My God, I hate this. I'm gonna give this like a W out of 10. You know, it's just like I just hate it. You know, I just hate it so much. And I wouldn't be mad, of course, because I would be reading The Winds of Winter.
Yeah, yes.
It would be very hard to
And,
be mad at that moment.
and
But I would be
technically,
oh,
Tybalt writing this is still Ramsay writing it to some extent, right? Like Tybalt writing this is a spy on behalf of Ramsay Bolton wrote this based on the information he collected, and we just didn't know who that spy was.
This is like a cat's paw wrote the pink letter.
It is actually basically a cat's paw wrote the pink letter.
I'm gonna give this a Valyrian dagger out of 10.
The cat's paw who stabs Bran wrote the pink letter.
You know, that's a pretty good knife considering
Yeah, just sort of winged it.
just
Yeah.
busted that out, yeah. Half a. I'm gonna give this a pie out of 10. Okay.
Pie out of 10. I like it. I'll take pie.
All right. It's getting a pie. Hang on. Will you please just draw pie, please? Pie. Getting a pie out of 10. It's better than Ramsay, but not by much.
You assume you have difficulty with your drawing tablet there. If you recently washed it with water,
Yes, it's very
that tends to
clean.
help.
It's very clean and damp.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go ahead and underline the words "never heard of." This is the character who was introduced to the story between books. All right, fine, whatever. If that's
Yeah.
the one, that's the one. I'm not gonna be mad about it, but please enjoy your pie out of 10.
I feel like that was it was appropriate to point out somebody who could have done it.
Fine.
Like Mel is like pure tinfoil if you believe Mel sent the pink letter. That's some like really convoluted shit. It also insanely out of character.
All right, let's
It
talk
also means
about.
Mel would have done something successfully. Uh,
Speaking of insanely out of character, let's talk about Stannis Baratheon.
ay ay ay. So I'm gonna fake my own death. Bottom text.
Fake, fake my own death. Bottom text. What? Get the wildlings to mobilize? Didn't know that Mance was coming. Maybe heard that from Theon, I guess. Maybe got like heard from Theon that the wildlings were there and managed to infer that it was 6 spear wives and a Mance. Backfired catastrophically.
Yeah, yes. If he had some sort of wild plan here, it either didn't work or was never to his benefit in the first place.
Yeah, if Stannis Baratheon did this is a real Cersei Lannister caliber plan.
Yes.
Like, man, this is bad plan, Stannis. So let's assume that he did this. Got John killed, right? Got the wildlings, let's say into a riot, because they're sure not gonna stand by and like Clytus and them just murdered the person who let them through the wall. They're not gonna be happy about that. They're sure not gonna
No,
be
not at all.
prepped for a march in the next couple of days, if they make it out at all. What else did he put his family at risk, right? Because there's now chaos. There's a coup. People die in a coup. He put his entire family at risk for no reason. Wait, are they still there? They might have moved to the Night Fort by the last chapter. No, they didn't. They're still there. They were preparing to leave. They're still there. Because John says in the last chapter that he has to go and tell Selyse.
Yeah.
What else? What else is stupid about this, Zach?
Stannis is a man who doesn't like lie. He's honorable. He's like Ned Stark honorable. Like
has been lying about not lying.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Like this is a man who will say his opinion truthfully, even when it like is politically not advantageous to do so.
Yeah.
This is a man who, like, ultimately, like George R. R. Martin himself has said, like he's like truly like as he presents himself to be. He's not duplicitous. He's not like scheming. He's like truly what a lord is supposed to be. And this is a harebrained scheme that requires lying, faking his own death, potentially incitement to riot, and also it's just not how he deals with things.
Not to mention,
we've seen how he deals with things. Well, Renly is trying to build alliances, and well, Balon Greatjoy is out just randomly sacking things to get money. And well, Rob is winning battles to put Tywin in a bad position to like win a long-term political goal of like drawing him into a stalemate and trying to get his independence. He just sails on King's Landing and says, "Yeah, that's my chair you're sitting in. I need it. Please abdicate."
Yeah. Stannis, when offers the choice, rocks up north of the wall and rides down Mance Rayder.
Yeah.
He is the physical embodiment of fuck it we ball, right?
Yeah.
He's all of the militarily exciting parts of Robert Baratheon without any of the fun parts, right? He doesn't drink, he doesn't smash things, but he sure does fuck stuff up.
And he always takes the most direct and honest way to deal with things, with like very few exceptions, and those are usually things that Mel tells him to do. And like, God, he like regrets Mel killing Redley, like hardcore. He wished he could have solved it on the field of battle or talked it over. Like that's his one thing we see like huge regret from him.
The king who actually didn't care that much.
Yeah. It's so wildly and nonsensibly like out of character for him. And also, like, he's still like why does he care? Like then also why include the Reek and the My Bride?
Yeah. Does
Does he even
Stannis?
know how many spear wives there are?
No, how could he know that? He doesn't have green seer powers.
Yeah.
The only reason that could work for Theon is that Theon would have touched the trees and gotten like clarity, like perfect clarity on those things that he saw inside the castle. Like he never talked to Mance about it.
Yeah, Stannis isn't looped in on this conspiracy.
Fake my own text, bottom tap.
Two,
Like
two,
dead ass.
2 out of 10. 2 out of 10.
It's below Ramsay for me. Like, can I give it a 1?
Yeah, give it a 1.
I give it a
I was
1
going
out
to
of 10.
be charitable
It's so
to people who might
it's
actually
so
believe
bad. It's worse than Melisandre. At least
It-
Melisandre has a habit of making politically very bad decisions.
yeah. I would believe that Cersei Lannister sent the pink letter before I believe that Stannis Baratheon sent the pink
God
letter.
damn it, we've started this section, huh? 14. Cersei. Boop. Cersei. There we go. We're starting to. We can start to fill out the corners in a little while here, Zach.
The meme section.
First, we got to
should
do
put-
Wyman Manderley.
We should put Mel back in one of the corners too.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think we have much to say about it. Let's talk about Wyman Manderley.
This one does part of the Grand Northern Conspiracy. Like deadass.
We should just state we believe in the Grand Northern Conspiracy. If you haven't heard of it, it is. I say I believe in the Grand Northern Conspiracy. I believe that a bunch of Northern lords are very upset with Bolton Rule, still loyal to Starks, and that there is a conspiracy between some figures to oust the Boltons and put a Stark back on the throne, to which they believe will go over well. That's more of a Northern conspiracy than a Grand Northern conspiracy, but I do believe in at least that much. I think you would say the same.
I agree. Could be, you ready for this? Could be to get Jon killed. Because he wants a trueborn Stark on the throne of Winterfell.
Yeah.
Could
get rid of one claimant. Or it could be that he knows about Rob's will, right? Rob may have put to legitimize Jon in his will.
Could be to get Jon at Winterfell, right?
Yeah, get him at Winterfell, get him to forsake his vows to the Watch, to throw him on a throne, and say, "Oh, he's a he's a deserter." Well, it's the job of the Lord of Winterfell to kill all deserters, and he doesn't feel like killing this one.
The could be to I don't know how or why Wyman would know that Arya isn't Arya. But if he does know that, Jon could disprove that. And therefore get Winterfell out of the hands of the Bolton. Disprove Jane's claim. Right? That I don't know how well that tracks for me, but it's interesting. That perspective is interesting. I'm moving this up just a little bit. Is this on screen? It is. What else? The problem is the people in Winterfell know who Theon is. And I I think absolutely, if this was Wyman, he would have used the word Theon. Because he doesn't know how fraught the relationship between Jon and Theon is, and if he wants Jon here, you use the word Theon.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you want Jon here, you use the word Arya.
Yeah.
Doesn't say Arya. It's possible. This one's pretty nuanced because this suggests um like conspiracy within conspiracy.
Yeah.
If somebody else wants to pitch this one to me, I would be interested in hearing it. Like this one's wild to me. Let me see if I can find it. You talk about it for a minute, and I'm gonna find a better source than the one that I have right now. Did we lose Zach?
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Okay. All right. Are you gonna riff on this, or are we gonna riff together?
I don't know what more I can say, really. Like, conspiracies within conspiracies. It like it's such a like odd maneuver. Like he must be aware of like how impossible it is for the Night's Watch to go and get involved in northern politics. He's a lord from the north, and even if his house is doesn't have the longest history in the north, they have enough. They know that. So it's just kind of odd, right? Of a plot if his goal is to get Jon to move or get Jon killed, for him to do this at all, for him to want Jon dead is irrelevant because he should know that. Well, he's not coming back, right? He's part of the Night's Watch. His claims are irrelevant, and him being the bastard son of Ned Stark is makes him doubly irrelevant. This would be more compelling if like Robb went to the Wall, and like if it's to get Jon down for like what purpose? Like he knows if he knows it's very very unlikely that that will happen in the first place. So why like go out of your way to like write this letter? If your goal is to like cause conflict between him and Ramsay, I don't know what that does other than just make them mad at each other. Like if he wanted to get more people to take Ramsay down, what I would have done was I would have faked a letter from Stannis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a letter from Stannis saying, "Oh, we need way more men, and you know what? Fuck it, bring the wildlings. Like anybody who can hold a spear is good." And I know the Night's Watch needs to stay up there, but if a couple could come down and like set up some supply lines, like give us some logistical support, we'd be grateful for that. And that feels like a better way, especially if you want to get Jon down. Say I know the Lord Commander is very busy, but he should come at once to see what's going on here and guide some people to us.
Yes.
We desperately need the help.
I request the Lord Commander's presence immediately.
Yes. And there's a better shot that the Watch is okay with that than him declaring war on
the Lord
House
Commander treats with people all the time, right?
Yeah.
I,
Usually
the
at the
king
wall,
who you serve, I request a political meeting.
Yeah, and to go on like a week-long trip, maybe round trip, to like parlay with him somewhere in between Stannis's camp and the Wall. And if that's Wyman's plan is to fake a message from Stannis and intercept him, and then like say, "Hey, here's Robb's will, here's your crown, fuck the Watch." That feels like a way better plan, right? We just came up with a way better plan for Wyman Mandalay to do that. Unless he wants Jon dead, and then again, for what purpose?
Yeah, why does he want Jon dead? Like, does Jon fucking know that? Does Wyman fucking know that Jon's a Targaryen? Like, what the fuck is happening, man? Like, if your plan, Wyman, was to get Jon to reinforce Stannis and help you get the fuck out of here, it backfired catastrophically. anyone whose plan was to get Jon to reinforce Stannis sure did do a bad job.
Yes.
And if your plan was like, if your plan is like the TLDR I'm seeing on a lot of these is like any result of this is advantageous to Wyman. They are all advantageous or neutral. If chaos ensues from it, that frees him up to have a more politically advantageous position after the dust settles. If Jon shows up, then if the Wildling army shows up, rather, then Stannis' army is reinforced. And if Jon shows up, then there is another Stark on hand, which is just useful.
Yes.
For that's going to be useful when Wyman perhaps considers reinstating Rickon as king in the north.
Yeah.
None of it, like, man, there's some like real fucking 5D chess going on.
It's only advantageous to Wyman Manderley if his plan is to constantly outsmart himself and do unnecessary things while stating just as planned.
Yeah, this is like some real like Cersei Lannister in media res, you know? This is Cersei Lannister circa like beginning of A Dance of Dragons. If this is his plan, I can't see it going well.
Yeah.
In fact, Jon's already dead. Zach,
yes.
I'm gonna give this a good healthy like I'm gonna give this like a brain explosion out of 10.
Can you draw like the like warthog with its like head exploding with the mushroom cloud? Can you draw that with like the red
Let
red
me
pen?
give me like one of these, and this is like here's the ring in the center of the mushroom cloud, and here's like and here's a pig.
Well, it's just like the head of the warthog, and he's like shocked, and there's the explosion. Yeah, but there's a pig. Yeah, that works too.
Out of 10.
I like that better. There we go.
Yeah. This pig out of 10.
Pig out of 10. Explosion pig out of 10.
Yeah. Now, I want it turns to camera 2. This is not a comment on Wyman Manderley's size. This is a comment on Wyman Manderley's ability to make plans. Zach, give me a, what do we think here? Give me a Melisandre. Give me the like short version of Melisandre.
She knows most of the relevant things. That's it. That's really as far as it goes for Mel's. Like,
Knows a lot of the stuff. Maybe wants Jon dead.
I mean, but for what purpose?
Right.
Also,
she says, like, through all of Dance, she's like, "Hey, be careful! I see people stabbing you in your future.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out for them knives."
And I think, like, she says, in her point of view chapter, like, I tell I ask to see the Lord of Light, and all I see is snow, and it's capitalized. Like, she's starting to come around to Jon Snow might be her Azor Ahai.
Dude, I don't think that in that scene she fucking gets it yet.
No, but I think like it's the Lisa needs braces dental plan sort of thing where she has the two pieces of information and she can't just draw the thread.
Lisa needs braces dental
Dental plan. It's a scene from The Simpsons where Homer Homer is told earlier that Lisa needs braces, and then at his union meeting, they're told that they.
Oh, there goes Zach again. Zach has disappeared. Well, I guess it's my turn. Jon Snow. Wonder what the case for Jon Snow is. All right, everybody, cover your ears. Zach is about to pop back into the call using his other mic setup. And there's a very real chance that it blows out all of our eardrums.
Hello.
Oh, Zach, you still sound the same.
Okay, good. Hi. Stream failed to start. Where did I cut out?
We were talking about dental plans.
Yeah. So it's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer knows Lisa needs to get braces from earlier in the episode. He's at his union meeting and they've traded in their dental plan for beer. And just in his brain, he hears Lisa needs braces, dental plan, and he's like, "Hold on, I'm supposed to do something with these two pieces of information, but I don't know what."
All right, Zach, help me. What the hell is the argument for Jon Snow wrote the pink letter?
There really isn't, as far as I know.
I know, like, there are people. There are people. Let's think, right? It's like Jon Snow forgot? Question mark? Is that what it is? Did Jon Snow like is it time travel?
He wrote fan fiction and then got drunk and forgot he wrote it later.
Got drunk? Someone in the comments, please tell me what the argument here is. Because I know that there are people who do actually unironically want this one. Right? There are people who go this way, and I don't respect them. Boop. 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 Let's Bran. With Bran, all things are possible.
Yeah.
Right. There we actually could have like hang on, we could have like a nice little chain here, right? Give me this. You. Give me this and give me this. We could absolutely do one of these, chain this to influence these guys, to influence this guy, right?
Yeah.
We could have like a three culprit sort of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, not this, right? We'd have Bran to Tybalt to Bowen. Wait, no, hang on. Shit. It would be Bran. What would it be? Bran to Mance to Bowen? Hang on.
Yes.
Bran to Mance to Bowen? Is that how it would work?
Kind of.
Right? Bran to Mance to Bowen? With Bran, all things are possible?
With Bran, all things are possible, yes.
Who else? Who else do people like kind of ironically say wrote the pink letter?
George R. R. Martin.
Some people have said, "Oh, wait, we have our nerd poll."
We do.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You riff. I'll return.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google who wrote the pink letter.
Do it.
I know you asked a ChatGPT earlier and got some wild ones.
Oh yeah, that was very fun.
I like the unknown opportunist. That's a really great one.
Unknown Opportunist is my favorite hip hop artist. An unhinged ice and fire poll. There it is.
Let's see.
Let's see. Name a sword. Who killed Joffrey? Something with a color in its name. Who wrote the pink letter? Mance, Ramsey, Stannis, Mance, Jon, Roose. Roose
Ru-
Bolton?
well, we talked about Roose as a possibility through Maester Tybalt, right? Like it's a conspiracy coordinated by Roose to create a conflict between Ramsay and Jon for purposes of advancing his own power and potentially stealing Ramsay's face, right?
There we go. Roose through
That
Tybalt.
Roose through Tybalt. If Tybalt's doing it, Roose is involved for sure.
Jon
It's also
Snow.
possible that he's doing it to like cause a conflict he can use to like divine who his friends and enemies are before he really needs to like, if he thinks he can beat some wildlings, Stannis's men, and maybe a few members of the Night's Watch, trying to start the conflict early, ensures he sees who sides with the enemy and who doesn't, right? Like it could be like a political divining rod.
How about Jon Snow in a Tyler Durden move?
We talked about that.
Yep. Not Ramsay. Pink letter? Question mark. Clytus. How about, what do you think of the Great Other?
The Great Other. We'd have to learn a lot of things about the others in that
For
case.
sure. They need to be literate.
And capable of scheming to such a level.
Sam Tarley. Open parentheses. Fat pink letter. Close parentheses. Can't forget that one. Let's see, what else can we put in here? Right, go ahead and throw in Germ. Who else we got?
I mean, that one's true. We can say he did write the pink letter.
We have everyone's favorite response in this poll. Doesn't matter.
I think it does matter, actually.
Ramsay, how about Moon Boy for all I know? God, the people who watch this shit are funny.
Yes.
We have Margaret Atwood. How about Patchface?
Patchface wrote the pink letter.
Yeah. The patch letter.
We know he's like educated, right? That's at least some evidence. I'm not gonna call it good.
Reek Ramsay, Mance Ramsay, Theon Mance, haha JK, unless the North. I think that tracks with Wyman, right? Probably
Yeah.
Mance. My personal favorite is Bowen Marsh. Ramsay's dogs. The Pink Maester.
The Pink Maester.
I'm sorry. God damn it. I have to write this down because it's been suggested. Arthur Dane. Why? Why? Who wrote that? John Mance Stannis with an edit from Melisandre. Stannis Mance, your mom. Fucking Jesus Christ. God damn this precedent I've set. Gilly.
Gilly wrote the pink letter.
Gilly.
Can Gilly write? Is Gilly literate?
Great question. Let's see. Stannis, pink mask. God damn it. Lemon cloak.
Why not? What would he have to gain, and how would he know any of these things?
That didn't matter to the people who wrote down Stannis Baratheon.
At least people have like come up with, if you squint and get really drunk and high at the same time and look at it, evidence for Stannis Baratheon. How could Lemon Cloak know any of these things?
How about Jesse Pinkman?
Jesse Pinkman wrote the pink letter.
Fucking goddamn it! Fucking, I'm writing
there's
it
no
down,
way.
you son of a bitch, Shireen.
There's no way Jesse Pinkman we can debunk. At no point in the pink letter did he call Jon Snow bitch. Shireen can write. Shireen could have wrote the pink letter. I don't know why she would write a doom and gloom fanfic where her dad is dead. Also, it's not going to work out well for her when she gets burned as a direct consequence.
Fucking Asha.
Asha or Asha?
Osha the Wildling.
She can't read, I don't think.
Theon with the help of Stannis. A panicked Ramsay. Boy, I wish I knew. I change my mind every other day on this one. Ramsey,
Don't we
time
all?
traveling Bran. How about Alice Karstark?
Good old Alice Karstark.
Wait, I think I've actually heard that one before. That one's kind of a. I'm not gonna say kind of a real one, but
I mean, it's similar to the Tybalt one, right? Where it's a like spy disinformation thing, right?
yeah.
Alice Karstark and Maester Tybalt do show up together. That actually kind of legitimizes the Maester Tybalt did it, right? It was a like scheme between a Maester who happened to be working with Alice Karstark. The Maester wrote the letter, but the intent behind it was somebody else's.
And of
I
course,
could buy that one.
my favorite response, I think, quote, according to the fandom, literally every fucking character.
This is like the famous theory that there are like 18 different plots to kill Joffrey and just one of them got through.
Yeah, they all got fed up on the same day.
Like after they're done stabbing John, they're like, well, we should go through the rest of his mail, and it's just 20 more exact same copies of the pink letter. Independently, everybody came up with the exact same letter
Yeah.
for different purposes.
Moon Boy for all I know. Hell
All right,
yeah.
Tom, I think we've covered it.
You think we have? You don't want to add anything?
No, I think we're good. I think that's
Yeah?
perfect. Yeah.
Have you do you feel that you have that your mind has been changed on anything?
I'm more open to the Bowen Marsh argument than I used to be.
I am
Uh,
now like I have come around in the opposite direction. I am now confident that it wasn't Bowen Marsh, but that Bowen Marsh and Clytus took advantage of it.
I think that, yeah, I think the Mance sent it, Bowen used it, solves most of the problems.
I think it does. I'm I'm still not 100% on Mance because it like again it just well, I was gonna say it doesn't seem like his style, but that kind of subterfuge is kind of his style, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
I kind of do like the Theon. You know, I kind of do like
Yeah.
the Theon.
And if you look at the Maester through the lens of on the orders of Alice Karstark, it feels like less of a cop out.
It yeah, I guess. But Alice Karstark is like quote unquote a good guy.
Well, unless we're getting another betrayal, there's a lot of good guys who betray you in these stories.
But Alice is allied with John.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
true.
wedding. Maybe it's Maester Tybalt on the order of one of the other Karstarks, one of the ones who were trying to steal Alice's birthright. Right, because we
Yeah,
know that a whole bunch of Maesters, I'm sorry, a whole bunch of Karstarks are trying to stab Stannis in the back.
yeah,
Um,
and that and they're working with the Boltons in doing so. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's where the Maester comes in. That status discovering that plot exists, basically.
that could track for me.
Yeah, so it's another Karstark doing that.
Look at this hellish tableau. I now hate Stannis Baratheon as an answer to this question even more than I did before.
Same.
Wyman Manderley, I think I have a little bit more respect for as the
Yeah.
answer to this. Like,
Oh.
I would not believe it, but I would love to see someone's justification for it.
We couldn't strike it down. It's just that there was never a good reason for it. Wyman Manderley could know all those things. This is exactly his sort of play, is to play people against each other, is to lie, is to deceive, is to take the like dark and nasty path to get revenge. But again, for what purpose? To what end? Why?
I just don't. It's just like a lot, you know. But then again, Wyman Manderley's plots are like a lot.
He is notable for baking people into pies,
What
which he
if
didn't need to do.
The first thing I fucking underlined rather on this whole board was the word timeline.
Yeah.
What if Wyman already has Rickon in hand?
God, that doesn't really change much. We still don't really have a purpose for this.
Man, what if Rickon is like outside Castle Black right now?
Again, why? Why does John need to be dead or out for that? If he has Rickon, he has Rickon. He's won, basically, at that point.
You're right, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
All right, fight about it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Zach, do you have anything to add in this 2-hour, 10-minute video?
No, I do not.
Thank you very much. You can check us out on the Patreon if you want to. I don't fucking know. Zach, goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, turns out it was Patchface all along.